Okay, let's take 5 minutes to look over Euro US dollar and Pound US dollar, otherwise known as cable. I think we are at a trend shifting point, a shift in trend, and I want to look over that as although there has not been a breakout for that yet, it appears to be coming and imminent, so that is what I'm going to cover here. Starting with Euro US dollar, and these two are essentially running in tandem. If you've been looking at what I've been writing on Twitter, you'll see I was running. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Here on the 4 hour, I was looking at a triangle until Friday. I was looking at A, B, C, D, and I was looking for wave E and then a move down. However, the sudden shift on Friday with some news came out about EU agreeing a deal on immigration, and that prompted the market to rise quickly, and it's now had a lower time frame breakout of trend here. So I'm going to run the idea that probably we have a low in place. I cannot say that for sure, but I'm going to work it to the upside now and drop the triangle idea. The daily, it looks like there is something incomplete on the daily. So I cannot say for sure that trend has shifted, but that is what I'm going to work with now. And I'm going to look for upside chances to buy because the triangle I was working has failed. Now, it is possible that this turns into a bigger triangle where you would have A, B, C, D, and E, and then move down, but I'm not going to run that just yet. We would need, for that to happen, you would need to see a move above here. And it may be too large, and it probably would not, the whole structure would probably be too large, I think too obvious. And also, it's already in line with cable, which I'll go over in a moment. So I'm going to favor the idea that it's going up. To justify wave, let me edit this for a moment. To justify wave 5 into here, I think we need to view this as a small ending diagonal, which is possible, and we talked about this on Twitter. It doesn't look great, I know, but for now, at least until we get above 1720 or so, I'm going to run this idea that the new low has probably seen a trend shift. Overall, once the trend has shifted, and it becomes obvious to everyone, the target I'm looking at is in the 120 region, about 119, 120, 121, to form what would effectively, not necessarily play out that way, but effectively turn into a head and shoulders here on the daily, or the weekly, or the 4 hour, whichever time frame you want to use. So that is what I'm going to look at. I'm going to favor buy-side opportunities now that the triangle I was working on has failed. Because if I look at the lower time frame, to go over this again, let's assume we have an ending diagonal here for the wave 5 low into this week. What I was working is C of the triangle, this is the 1 hour, would be a wedge now. And I would look for that move up overall to follow. So we would already have the first parts of a move higher. If there's a shift that's going to come in, it will be above 1720. It will be in this region here, beneath this high and above this high. So that'll be the box where it will show some weakness possibly. But for now, I'm going to run it to the upside. I think sentiment is low. And there's a pretty good chance this is in for a trend shift higher. Now, it may turn into something quite choppy if it's just a correction. And judging 5 waves down, that would work out as a trend shift overall from January 2017. So we'll be looking for a move up towards 120, 122, and then a move back down underneath 115, possibly down to the gap, which is here, about 107, 108. We'll see what happens, but for now, that's how I'm going to run it. Now going over to cable. Cable is effectively in line. I had both of these running in line with the triangle idea, but with the shift, they're still effectively in line. So the two things I'm looking at in cable, Let's ignore the A and B for a moment. That's an alt idea I'm running. It looks like we may have an ending diagonal here without the breakout, so I'll go over that in a moment. So there's a major trend shift in cable to the downside in what I would call 1, 2, 3, 4, and this would be wave 5 down to here. Then would run into a 3-wave correction. I would target about the 137 level, 136, 138, and then a move down towards 120, which I think we have in store. So just a moment, let me go back. I'll show you the second idea. The second idea, I was trying to run a flat. It's probably not going to be likely, but what I would say is because we don't have a breakout of this trend yet, it's still possible, but we come back down for one more low. When we see a breakout here of this trend line, I would then think that we've had the break, we've had the change of trend, and we can target 136 to 138. So there's no real change of trend until this breakout is done in cable. We are close now. I just can't rule out one more low overall for the flat idea I was running, or this different type of wedge. But overall, it's basically there, and sentiment is very, very low in cable, justifiably. But I think I've been over this before. I'll do it one more time in cable. Let's look at the long-term chart. There's no reason to be bullish cable. Unfortunately, the pound is in the process of taking a whack and probably getting beaten down to sub 120. If you look at the chart back to 71, you'll see there was a line of support in the 80s, 85, here, 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 here. What broke the support was the 2016 Brexit vote, which sent it down, breaking that level, up for a retest this year into April, and resistance was found, and we have a downtrending move here. So any correction up from 130 into 136, 137, 138 is what I'm going to look for a move back down towards the low, probably beneath 120, towards, well, you can see there. That's what I'm looking for overall. It is a basic matter of broken support turns into resistance. We use this on the 4-hour and the daily and whatever time frame you want to use. This is a monthly example of that. The principle is the same. So when we get a breakout here in cable, the trend will shift, I think, and given the very low sentiment, we may have a rally that's quite strong. Now, the month has closed now. When the market opens on Monday, we'll be into a new monthly candle. The cable candle is insignificant. It's a continuation candle, essentially, though if we get the bounce, that would be great. It looks like we're going to on the daily. For Euro US dollar, we effectively have a doji, a little bit of a negative doji, but essentially that. It's an indecisive candle. It's essentially, in a trending market, a continuation candle, though there may be a pause for a while, and that would fit in line with the correction idea overall in this. What I want to say, I already pointed out the head and shoulders, the possible head and shoulders in Euro US dollar. This one here, 1, 2, and 3. There's the same thing in cable that can materialize. If we get a bounce here, up towards the 136, 13, whatever level here, another head and shoulders. So those two can tie in together. I'm more bearish on cable than I am on Euro US dollar, because Euro US dollar appears to have put in a 5-wave impulsive advance from January 2017 through to February 2018, and this here will turn in ultimately to be a corrective move. Cable does not have an impulsive 5-wave advance and is more bearish overall. So if you want to be a bear of the two, I would take cable, but they both look like they've got some more downtrending to do over the next year or two. Probably we'll see these corrections and downtrends carry on throughout 2018 and into 2019 and take it from there. So look for trend changes in these two. They're close without having full confirmation just yet. Okay, cheers.